Okay, this is section 6.2, Law of Cosines. And one very important thing that I forgot to put on your notes are the equations for the law of cosines. So you might want to pause this for a second while you write this down. Um, so we have our equations that we used for law of sines. Now we're going to have a set of equations for law of cosines. And again, the reason we want to be able to use law of sines and cosines is because we can use those to solve any kind of triangle. It does not have to be a right triangle. And so it's very useful in order to know how to solve any kind of triangle that we want. And in order to do that, we would use law of sines or cosines. Now, law of cosines are going to be used for solving side-side angle triangles and side-side-side triangles. Okay, so this very first example, I know the three sides of a triangle, but I don't know any of its angles. And so we're going to use the law of cosines in order to solve for those angles. Now, tomorrow in class, I'm going to give you a set of notes that tells you what steps to do first. And when I have a side-side-side triangle, my first step is to find the angle opposite my longest side. So if you'll notice, let me get my marker. Side B is my longest side, so I want to find angle B first. Okay, and that's what you'll do every single time you have a side-side-side case. All right, so I need to find angle B. So I'm going to have to go up here and look at my equations and figure out which one I'm going to use. Obviously, I have to use one that uses angle B in the equation. And there's only one that does that. This one right here. Okay, now remember, how do I know which side is A, B, and C? The sides are opposite their angles. So here's angle A. That means this is side A. Here's angle B. That means that this is side B. Here's angle C. So opposite that is side C. So now we're just going to take these numbers and plug them into this equation. So it says B squared. So 19 squared equals C squared, which is 14, plus A squared, which is 8, minus 2 times C times A times the cosine of angle B. Now I'm just going to do a lot of algebra in order to solve for angle B. So 19 squared, let me get my calculator up here. Move it over here. All right. 19 squared, 361, equals 14 squared, which is 196, plus 8 squared, which is 64, minus 2 times 14 times 8, and that's 224, oops, times the cosine of B. Now I have 361 equals, I can add 196 and 64 together. I cannot subtract my 224 from that because this is attached to my cosine. So 196 plus 64 is 260 minus 224 times the cosine of angle B. If I'm solving for cosine B, I need to subtract 260 from both sides. I don't know what's wrong with my computer. Now I have, what is that? 101 equals negative 224 times the cosine of angle B. Divide by negative 224. And I have 101 divided by negative 224. And that's what cosine B equals. Okay, so when I put this in my calculator, remember, anytime we're looking for an angle, and I'm solving for angle B, we're going to hit our second cosine button. I have second cosine of 101 divided by negative 224. So angle B is 2.03. That's not right. Let me see what I did wrong. Oh, I wasn't in degrees. So I was in radians. Okay, so everything I wrote down was right. I just need to put that back in. Okay, so my angle is 116. Okay, so let me get that back up there. So angle B is equal to 116.8. Just so that I can show you again in my calculator. 116.8 degrees. All right, so that's what angle B is. Now I need to know the other two angles. Once we use the law of cosines to find the angle opposite our longest side, then we can use the law of sines to find the rest or my next angle. I don't know, let's find angle A. So using law of sines, I have 8 over sine A equals, and I have to use B because that's the only other angle I have, B, which is 19, over sine B, which is 116.8. Now I'm going to cross multiply. 8 times the sine of 116.8 equals 19 times the sine of A. So sine of A equals this divided by 19. So angle A equals, and again, when I put this in my calculator, I'm going to move this back over here. I'm going to hit second sine because I'm looking for an angle. Second sine, I'm going to go ahead and use my fraction key. I have 8 times the sine of 116.8 over 19. So angle A is 22.1. We'll round to the nearest tenth. That's angle A. Now our third angle is the easiest to find because we know all three angles have to add up to 180. So angle C is going to be 180 minus 22.1 plus 116.8. And when you put that in your calculator, angle C should be, I don't have it down, so let's put it in. 180 minus 22.1 plus 116.8, 41.1. All right, so we solved all three angles. Okay, let's look at example 2. Now, in example 2, I'm not given side, side, side. I'm given side, angle, side. Okay, so again, I put the law of cosines up at the top. When you're giving a side, angle, side, okay, we're going to find the side opposite my given angle. All right, so we're going to find this side first, side A. Okay, and I have to pick out my equation I'm going to use. Obviously, I'm only given one angle. I'm given angle A, so I have to use this top equation. Okay, so let's kind of label our numbers that we have here. I know this is side B, this is angle A, and this has to be side C. Okay, so we have A squared. A squared equals, because we're going to find that side first, B squared, which is 15 squared, plus C squared, which is 10, minus 2 times 15 times 10 times the cosine of angle A, which is 115. A squared equals 15. And now this is basically a calculator problem now. 15 squared, 225. plus 100 minus, that's 150, what is that? 300 times the cosine of 115. And let's just put the rest of this in our calculator. So 225 plus 100 minus 300 times the cosine of 115. Now that's what a squared equals. So if I just want a, I'm going to take the square root of that answer. So second square root, second answer, 21.25. Okay, so that's what side A is, 21.25. Okay, now I can find a missing angle if I want. So let's find angle B. I'll do this in a different color. So let's find angle B. So I'm going to use law of sines. 15 over the sine of angle B equals, and we'll do A over sine A, 21.25 over the sine of angle A, which is 115. Cross multiply. 15 times the sine of 115 equals 21.25 times the sine of B. So sine of angle B would equal 15 of sine times the sine of 115 divided by 21.25. So when I put this in my calculator, I'm going to hit second sine because I'm looking for an angle. Second sine. Since I have this fraction, I'm going to go ahead and use my fraction key. 15 times the sine of 115 over 21.25. And I get 39.77. That's what angle B is. Now I can find angle C. So angle C is 180 minus, I'm going to add my two angles that I found. So angle C is, move this over, 180 minus 115 plus 39.77, 25.23. Okay. All right, the last example that we're going to have talks about how you can use the law of cosines to get a new formula to find the area of a triangle. In geometry, we learned the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, but you had to know the height of that triangle. Now we can find the area of a triangle when just given the sides of that triangle. It's called Heron's area formula, named after the Greek mathematician Heron. So here's what it says. Given any triangle with sides of lengths A, B, and C, the area of the triangle is given by the square root of S times the quantity S minus A times the quantity S minus B times the quantity S minus C. And S is equal to A plus B plus C divided by 2. All right, so it's pretty straightforward. So find the area of a triangle having sides of lengths 42, 53, and 72 meters. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find out what S is. So 42 plus 53 plus 72 divided by 2. And when I stick that in the calculator, I think I already have it written down someplace, I get 83.5. So that's what S is equal to. All right, so now I'm going to take S and plug it into this formula. So area equals the square root of 83.5, 83.5 minus A, which is 42, times 83.5 minus B, which is 53, times 83.5 minus C, which is 72. So this is basically a calculator problem. So let me show you kind of a shortcut. Since I'm using 83.5 over and over again, I'm going to store that in my calculator. I'm going to type in 83.5, and then I'm going to hit, see this store button over here right above your on button? I'm going to hit store, and I'm just going to call it X, and then press enter. So every time I type in X, it's the same thing as typing in 83.5. Okay, so now I'm going to put this big, long problem. So I hit second square root of 83.5, that's X, times X minus 42 times X minus 53 times X minus 72. So you see how it just helps? You can store, I could have called it anything. I just chose X. And then enter. And my answer is 1102.46. And we're finding area. Area is always squared units. So now we can find the area of any triangle when I'm given just the three sides of that triangle. Okay, I'll give you your other note sheet in class tomorrow that kind of takes you step by step on what you need to find first when using law of cosines.